add to what our sisters has said here. I'm so glad to be around my brothers and sisters. I'm coming from the Ministry of Awqaf. It's called Islamic Endowments because I have this question asked by someone yesterday, what's the endowments in Islamic affairs? So the popular name is Ministry of Awqaf. As you can see here in the picture, we are going to talk about the beauty traditional architecture with the smart of lighting. The first one here, you can see the building which called Fanar Islamic and Culture Center. This is in the center of Doha. And this building has a spatial design and spatial lighting from outside and inside. And you can also see there is a spatial design of the minaret as well, which is the only minaret with this design in the Middle East, as well as there is one I think in Egypt and one in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken. This Fanar Islamic culture is, there is a lot of qualified people there who can explain about the culture of Qatar and explain about Islamically as well. Where I'm one of these lecturer people there. Here I'm gonna talk about two different things. But before I start my presentation, I have a questions for the audience, so I want you to feel sleepy. Okay, the first question is, do you think the application of a smart or intelligent system to building, when we are talking here is mosques, can greatly contribute to making them truly sustainable and resilient? If so, how? So I need to have your opinion in this question. Anyone is architecture here?
He wants to be filmed.
Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor and outdoor.
Personally speaking, I don't like this smart things on mosque. Actually, I have seen a mosque in UAE. It is very famous on the internet. You can see it on YouTube as well. That is color changing and very dynamic and smart and all this stuff. But this, personally speaking, I'm not an architect, but personally speaking, I don't like this idea for the mosques. Mosque should have special, Islamic feelings.
Can affect your emotion.
Exactly, and I don't like this. You can see it something else in for games or streets, and it could be an office building as well. Even in an office building, it should be respectful. So smart for control, yes, but for other things.
Any other addition to Tara? Okay. Have my boy here is going to answer this question. Application of a smart or intelligent system can greatly contribute, but that should be coupled with the behavior in using and operating them and the behavior of people using them. Yet they conceive at all green building scales. As you can see today, everybody is running after green buildings or tower green buildings. But are we having the behavior and the attitude to adopt the green building practices? Not yet. Okay, let's see what the green building is so people can have idea about the green building, because some weeks back, one person, he was talking about green building and he thought it's like a green garden can be next to his building. And he was like, no, I don't want this. I don't want this to be my villa because the budget is so high and you can just cancel the green garden. Okay, let's see what green building is. Okay, this is what everybody is running after green building, but none or very little are adopting green building. I will talk about two things, about the green buildings, how we Awqaf moved from the old buildings to get it friendly, environmentally friendly. And before we go for lighting, it is very important that we should look into the buildings to have it green, because LEDs is part of greens. US Green Building Council in 2003 described green building as the building that are designed, constructed, and operated to post environmental, which is, a lot of the speakers spoke about the CO2 and the health problem and how to save the environment, economic, which is one of the biggest barriers not allowing others to adopt green practices because of the cost, and health. There's many speakers are talking about the health. And the productivity performance over conventional building. Okay, there's another definition which is by co-socialist, 2003. He says green building uses a careful integrated design strategy that minimizes energy use, and this is why we are moving from the conventional lighting to LEDs in order to minimize the energy and maximize daylight, has a higher degree of indoor quality and thermal comfort, conserve water. This is, it's, as you can see in the mosque, I'm talking about the mosque particularly, if you go to the pollution area, if we don't have a smart valve, for example, then just people go to the pollution area and they leave the water running without really concern, because they are not paying the bill for this water. Reuse materials and use materials with recycling content, which is very rarely happened here in the Gulf. Minimizing sites, disruptions, for example, Qatar is getting hubs in constructions, and it becomes, through reading and my research, the third country in air pollution. So this is because people are not adopting these kind of practices, and general provides a higher degree of occupants confirmed. There are 3 pillars for the green buildings that everyone should adopt it, and there is some benefits of it, of us using green building or environmental friendly building, which are the environment benefits and economical benefits and social benefits. For the environment benefits, it could be as followed: emission reduction, this is what everyone is talking about, water conservation, temperature moderation, climate change, and as we can see in the last meeting in Paris, where how countries can reduce the climate change because we are going in hazard situations now. Waste reduction, recycling, and so on. Okay, for economical benefits, we have water saving, as we mentioned earlier. People go to the ocean and they keep the water running, so we have to find a solution how to save the water. And energy saving, and this is our topic, energy saving. We need to find solution how to save the energy. People should use solar panel. We have free sun here in Qatar, so people are not taking advantage of the solar panel, and you can connect your water to the solar panel, and there's a lot of ways to save energy. For social benefits, it's improve health and comfort, improve quality of life, and this is what everyone wants. Minimize strains in local infrastructure, enhance social ties. Okay. There are some barriers, this is in my opinion, that people are not adopting the green buildings or the environmental buildings because of these factors. Lack of awareness from clients, owners, stockholders, consultants, contractors, and so on. If they are not aware about the environment, about the economically, about the social health, then no one will adopt the green practices. Lack of knowledge and competence among the designers. Increasing cost or perceived cost. This is one of the biggest barriers. As my brother Tara just says, we don't want to use the Chinese qualities But in the same time, majority of the suppliers, especially here in Qatar, through what I experienced, are providing a Chinese materials. Why we cannot go ahead for a best materials, but the problem is the cost. And there's a study, a case study was in the States, says if you build a green building and conventional building, the differences in cost will be 2%, but the manufacturer is local. Here in Qatar, if we have to deliver the materials here, then the prices of materials will be more higher. Therefore, the 2% will be maybe 10%. Okay, lack of availability of green materials. For example, if we use the spotlights, okay, and the availabilities, none of the suppliers have enough stocks for green lights, for example. If any of the green lights happens, any mistakes happens to it, then they have to order it, and it takes maybe 45 days to arrive. Lack of database and information. Lack of building codes and regulations. Every organization have their own regulations. Okay, if we are talking about energy saving, and this is my second part, there's 40% of the world energy is consumed by buildings. So if we move to a buildings, then we are 40% energy saving can be realized through intelligent building automation. And also, as you can see here, it's 21% of greenhouse gas emission come from buildings. Total energy consumption diagram. And this is, we are talking about the lights. I'm not talking about the air conditioning, which is the highest one. Talking about the lights, yesterday I have heard from some speakers says it's 19% and some say it's 15%, but the study from Siemens it shows it's 15%. But 15% is still high. So we need to find a way to reduce and to save some energy. Okay. Let's talk about the mosques that Awqaf are working with and how we moved from the old mosque to a new mosque, which is almost green mosques, but in a traditional architecture. This mosque is one of the biggest mosques back to the old days. Okay, this was the biggest mosque in Qatar, and it's in the center of Doha. As you can see here to the left side is this building. It's this side which is for the men prayer hall, and this one is the ladies prayer hall. And this is the minaret which is designed and built in a traditional way. If we go to the second one, traditional and conventional building, internal and external, but it is a small mosque. Okay, this is how it looks like back to the old days. And you can see inside, we are really focused in the lighting to be as a traditional as possible. We can use the spotlights, we can use the chandeliers, but we are trying to make it as traditional as and decoration as well. But back to the old traditional. Qatar here, they are really focusing in the traditional buildings. Comparing to Dubai is different. Okay, this is how it looks like. And the big move we have from the old mosque and the new mosque. As you can see here, this is external and internal. This is Mohammed bin Abdul Wahab Mosque, which is the biggest mosque here in Doha. And as you can see the lighting here, it's really focused in the wall to make and to show the beauty of the building as well. For the minaret, it's focused in the minaret to show the beauty of the building as well. And we can see also we have inside lights, so for people who are in a distance area, they can see there's a mosque there. Okay, and we have a lot of children inside the mosques. We have, this mosque is green mosque, but it was built in 2005 and finished in 2010. but the lights were not LEDs. Therefore, now we are working to change all the lights to LEDs, and there's about now maybe 80% of the lighting has been changed to LEDs, except some of the lights in the children's. And this is how many children we have in the mosque. There are 3 types of children: low level, which is 24 pieces, high level 18 pieces, and very high level with 4 pieces. And in every children's and different levels, we have different numbers. Like for the lower level, we have 8 children have 32 numbers of 9 watt LEDs and 16 numbers of 13 watt CFL. This is what we are working on. We need to change it to LEDs. And for numbers of strip LEDs. We are planning to change the whole lights to LEDs, but honestly speaking, when we change the design, for example, we change the CFL to LEDs spotlights, we are finding some problems. And some of the problems is, when changing all lights bulbs into LEDs, some LEDs start to flicker. And I would like to have some suggestions from the suppliers and designers. What is the problem? Because really, is it because of the driver? Is it a voltage drop? Is it from the chip itself? We need to find a solution for this case. And it's the same thing here, but different children with different numbers and different sizes. Okay, for the decorations, halogen and LED lights, as you can see here in the main door, we are using warm white striped halogen lights. This is it, and we are planning to change it to LED, but with warm. And as you can see, the floor LEDs, we have already changed it to LEDs, but it's a white color with 4000 Kelvin and above. And in the mosque, most likely, it is recommended that we can have 2 colors. For the spotlight, we need it to be white color, and for the children, we need it to be a warm color, because as Tennis has explained, that the warm color gives you more comfort, and we need the pupils when they enter the mosque. When they pray, they have more focus in their prayer, and they feel more comfort. And when they are reading Quran and recitation Quran, they are also, in a good mood. Okay. This mosque, was last year, and all the lights, as you can see, are LEDs. We don't have any more halogen or CFL. And here in the minaret, we have 3 levels with LEDs floodlights, and the sponsor of this mosque, he chose the light to be white inside and outside. So it's after the discussion with the architectures people, what's the best for the mosque to be installed. And as you can see here, also the children's is all LEDs, the spotlights, and the wall from inside and the wall from outside. And we are using different lights inside the mosque and outside the mosque. In the courtyard, we are using in the wall like the 2 direction lights, should be above IB 65 or equal. And as you can see here in the courtyard, we are using 1 direction LEDs. There is some LEDs advantage and disadvantage. Okay, the majority of the people talk here, they only spoke about the advantage of the LEDs. But in reality, we are facing some problems with the LEDs. The suppliers comes and they say, okay, we give you 5 years warranty, but some of the LEDs doesn't finish 1 year and problem occurred. And when you start to contact them, they try to hide. So where is this 5 years warranty going? Okay, and this is happening in reality. and I have faced this myself. Here's some advantage. Well, here it should be 500 hours, but this is from Siemens. They are saying it's 100,000 hours. Very long surface life up to 100,000 hours, saving features, maintenance costs such as realignment, balance, change, and labor. Dramatically high efficiency up to 150 lumen per watt. But technically, there is, I have asked the people who was expert in labs, then they said technical is up to 150 lumen per watt currently, but some companies are saying it's 150. I have doubt about this one. Lower heat output compared to conventional lighting, which help reducing the air condition needs is agreeable. Lower power for lighting, which can free up electrical load to be used in other applications, agreeable. Longer manufacturer warranty up to 5 years. This we have problem with this. Saying 5 years, but in reality, it happens sometimes 1 year is not finished. Not all is getting, blow off, but some of them got, and suppliers is trying to hide it. The disadvantage is the high initial cost, and this is one of the biggest barriers for clients and for stockholders are not adopting green LEDs. It's because of the cost. More sensitivity to higher temperature, okay? And you have to change the whole luminaire at the end of service life. And this is, this is really so bad because you have to wait 45 days or more for the part to come or to arrive because suppliers didn't have enough stock locally and not available. So this is really one of the biggest problem we are facing. This is some of the lights what we are using. I'm not going to explain because I have some of them outside. Okay, and these some technicals, what details of the chillers used in mosques, and we are trying to use it as decorative and as traditional as possible, as you can see here, comparing from the old mosques and the new mosque. And this is our presentations, and I hope that suppliers, go to their promises when they say 5 years warranties, and to find the solutions why we are having some problems when we change from halogen or CFL to LEDs. And this is, as you can see, the building of Mohammed bin Abdul Wahab. It's the same as I showed you previously, the building of the old building in Qatar and the new building in Qatar. It's built traditionally and with the same architecture, but in a green way of building. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. In Qatar, do you have a manual for mosque?
Do we have
Do
what?
you have a manual for mosque design?
Yes, we do. We follow our specification.
Okay, because I know in Abu Dhabi we have a mosque manual as well, but it also details how much power can be used, the lighting levels.
We do have.
You do have the same. Okay. Right. It just seems that sometimes the lighting may be just too bright.
It is too bright, but especially for outside, we make it on purpose to show the beauty of the building. But inside, we are using not too bright in order for the people who is, for example, reading Quran, so they don't get, their eyes doesn't get affected. So we are trying as much as possible to make it convert inside, and for outside, we are making it on purpose more brighter, so to show the beauty of the building as well.
Right, and you mentioned that you have to replace complete luminaires when one fails for LED. One of the aspects of the Abu Dhabi code is that you have to have LED luminaires with replaceable strips of LED, so they have to come as component parts. So you don't have to replace them all. So maybe if you look at the specification and say that you must be able to replace the LEDs as individual strips, this will save you all the time to replace the luminaires. And there's no long waiting time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the Daniel. Thank you. Okay, for our last speaker of the day, introduce you to Martin Valentine.